a letter that I'd like to read out to give you a bit of a background to what road safety means to a certain person that we'll be interviewing today. I'll just quickly go to this letter now. I am pleased to introduce to you Dr. Noel A Kanagaraj, Road Safety Consultant, Noel Infrastructures Private Limited, Chennai. Dr. Kanagaraj visited Melbourne, Victoria in October 2012 and had meetings with various Victorian state government departments and associates with reference to road safety and traffic management. Now, this visit was organized by the Australian Trade Commission in Chennai. The objective of this visit, however, was to understand and review various road safety management systems in Australia and to develop a comprehensive plan to promote those initiatives in India. Now, Dr. Kanagaraj has actually been working on this plan since 2003 when he actually came to Australia. Without further ado, let me introduce the man that we are actually referring to, Dr. Noel A Kanagaraj. Thanks so much for speaking to us, Dr. Kanagaraj. The letter which I've just read out is from the Australian government, but there is a very deep significance in terms of why we're highlighting the fact that Dr. Kanagaraj was involved officially on paper, as a mediator, a serious mediator between VicRoads, AUSTRADE, and everybody who were on an official note in India as well, to really welcome this kind of a partnership and bilateral relations. These are serious bilateral relations, and we recognize that. Moving forward actually into the next step. Now, the organization of the international conference, where did things turn around after the conference, in a negative light, if I should say, for you?
The road safety experts and also AUSTRADE were surprised the outcome of the conference. They never expected that such an overwhelming response can come out of an initiative like this. Mm-hmm. It was not only a surprise, it was an amazing thing to be witnessed by the Australian specialists on road safety. So they were not only excited, they also said, okay, this is the way to go. So I have taken them one after the other, first to the Transport Department, then to the Police Department, then to Anna University, and then to Pondicherry. In all this enrouting, I found that they were scheming on their own with certain discussions, keeping me away from the discussion. I did not suspect at that point of time that there was a scheme that's being worked out, but on reaching Pondicherry, which is closer to Chennai,
right on the outskirts of Chennai.
Outskirts of Chennai, the person whom I employed as a facilitation manager for the conference was in constant dialogue with the Australians and AUSTRADE officials during that period, which was not warranted. And encouraging him, I found that my manager, in my own presence, was soliciting favors in the form of distributing gifts to every Australian visitor who came there, including Peter Cox and his wife. So I was really shocked, because I have not asked him to do this on behalf of the company. On his own initiative, he was doing that. So I suspected that there is a wrong move that is going on. Mm. So on return back to Chennai, I terminated the services of my employee manager.
And just for the benefit of everybody watching, we're actually not naming the person for sensitive reasons, and to all due respect to the people we've already mentioned, the names that we've already mentioned, we don't want to go further by naming this particular person, and if need be, Dr. Kanagaraj will actually name that person in due course.
Yeah. When I terminated the person, again another surprise was he was taken by the company which participated in the road safety conference. Mm-hmm. This was again facilitated by the Australian consultant who was introduced by AUSTRADE to me, and they were working together to achieve this purpose. And the person who has engaged his services has engaged him on a payment, on a consultant's fee, to be a consultant for that company to introduce the product to the government of Tamil Nadu. And the government of Tamil Nadu also issued, based upon the information provided during the conference, an order in favor of the company through AUS TRADE. The letter was addressed to AUS TRADE, and the product was to be supplied within a month's time. This was done in the month of June 2012. Sorry, June 2013.
Yeah.
It is almost more than a year till now the product was not supplied. So the trust of the government in trying to understand road safety through Australian expertise was become a question, because the practical demonstration was not done as per the expectations of the Tamil Nadu government.
Which means all the dialogue, all the preparation, all the planning that went in from your end and everybody who was associated with you, the trust factor that you built in with, the Tamil Nadu government to start off with, was sort of hanging in the balance and hanging by a thread, primarily because a wrong choice was made, the wrong person was trusted, and sort of you were thrown on the wayside because the information was not passed on in the right light. Am I getting the right drift here, or
It's perfect. You're perfect. That's exactly what has happened. You're correct.
So if I actually ask you a question in terms of what could the government in Australia or Vic Roads or AUSTRADE, which is obviously a government body, could have done better. Yes, Peter Cox was obviously a consultant that they trusted and they had actually engaged in officially. Now he must have had a key role to play in terms of advising what needed to be done.
Peter Cox was not connected to this deal of supplying the product.
Okay.
They've engaged my employee manager.
This is a completely different scenario.
Completely different scenario. My employer was engaged, and the surprising thing was the letter was addressed to AUSTRADE and not to the concerned party. Mm-hmm. When AUSTRADE has received that letter, it is the responsibility to see that the inquiry is honorably handled, because it is a government initiative.
Of course, yeah.
When the product was not supplied, there was not any communication whatsoever between AUSTRADE and the government of Tamil Nadu to the respective department, why there was a delay, why it was not supplied, and what was the reason. This only indicates the interest which they exhibit as a road safety expertise to be offered to India is just a non-serious move.
Sort of like skimming the surface.
It is just skimming the surface, or it is, I don't know whether it is a showmanship, or is it just they only want business and not really showcasing their real capability.
Okay.
So that question came to my mind, and I was really shocked, because I had spent more than 10 years in advocating to everybody the Australian road safety, the best road safety system. So now I was put to a little bit of embarrassed situation with the government officials whom I developed such a long contact.
Yes.
And I was not able to meet them because this was hanging in balance between me and the government officials. So which at my age of about 62 was a serious insult to my career which I built up for so many years. Right? The only reason that the government engaged me for road safety promotion is the trust that
the credibility
I have developed over a period of 20 years of my lifetime. Right? So, and if they would have ever supplied a product like that anywhere in India and demonstrated the real capability that, okay, this is the product, this is how the accident can be prevented, I would have been delighted. But unfortunately, till now, again I am coming to Australia only to see what are the improvement that Australia has done on road safety. Now I am disappointed because such a demonstration was not done even today.
Now, so this isn't just all talk from Dr. Kanagaraj. This is an official document, and there are various other documents that states that he played a very key role in initiating, facilitating, and possibly even, if he was allowed to stay, could have even implemented it with the help of AUSTRADE and Vic Roads and the involvement of the Australian government, but with the right method.
Absolutely.
Now,
right.
if we actually throw light on more on how you were left aside, that would be fantastic. And not to put no disrespect to you, sir, but the people need to know exactly what has happened.
That's a question I am not able to answer because I did not like to probe into the affairs of the government, because this I knew will affect the image of Australian government. Mm-hmm. Since I had such a respect for Australian government initiatives and my transaction with the various government officials, both in India as well as in Australia, I thought whether it was the right thing to open up this dialogue or not to. So I waited till now, and now I realize that business is happening. I am thrown out. They have no consideration for the value that I have developed over a period of my lifetime.
Yes.
And there is no justification that they should proceed with business initiatives, right? Eliminating the man who is responsible for this initiative. Now my serious doubt is, will Australian government demonstrate road safety initiative in a scientific manner as I was planning to do through Australian government? There isn't any demonstrable, conspicuous activities which are shown in the state of Tamil Nadu for all the work that I have done in the past several years. So I thought if it is brought to the attention of the government, which they may not be aware of it in Australia, I thought instead of addressing this issue in India or in Tamil Nadu where I live, I thought the better place and the better media would be an Australian media, so that Australians will realize that there is something seriously happening wrong in the offices of AUSTRADE, which encourages wrong promotional activities, which one day or other will affect the image of Australia as a country. So I thought it's my responsibility to convey this to the Australian public that this has to be corrected.
And if you could sum up briefly, what happened from 2003 and why you started doing this? I
came in 2003 to attend my son's graduation ceremony in Brisbane. Mm. During that occasion, I brought a letter of introduction from the government of Tamil Nadu, yep, from the police department, yep, and others, mm-hmm, to meet the concerned officials who are in charge of road safety. I was recommended by Indo-Australian Chamber of Commerce to AUSTRADE, and AUSTRADE organized my appointments from the day one. They introduced me to Main Roads Transport Department to Queensland Government, mm-hmm, and they in turn taken me to some of the specialists in Brisbane.
Okay.
Followed by that, I visited Victoria the same week and met the leading road safety experts in Vic Roads, Overseas Project Corporation, OPCV, mm-hmm, and ARRB, and got a clear insight of how road safety is being handled and managed by Australian government. So that opened up my vision for road safety in 2003. I went back to India and started promoting, in the sense introducing the companies I have met in Australia to the government departments. In India, the main control is with the police department.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about that, yes.
So I had introduced the officials from Queensland Government and Vic Roads to almost all the police officers whom I had interacted from 1990 onwards, and told them that there is a better way of managing road safety, mm-hmm, and that can come from Australia, and here are the documents. Fortunately for me, I was provided with various documents and road safety films by the Queensland government and Vic Roads for me to exhibit the relevance of road safety practices being done in Australia. So that excited various government officials, and they were able to see the potential prospects for road safety management through Australian initiatives. So I had been doing this for almost about 10 years, and then in 2012 I came along with Indo-Australian Chamber of Commerce delegation to Australia, and once again I repeated this exercise of inviting a letter of introduction from AUS TRADE in Chennai to meet the respective government officials. And I'm glad to inform that AUSTRADE has made a very good arrangement and engaged also a professional Australian, the name of Mr. Peter Cox, to facilitate the process of taking me to these organizations. He is a financial consultant. He also wide experience in India. 12 years he worked in India as an Australian financial consultant. So they selected probably the right person to introduce me to the respective people in Victoria. So he had taken me along with him, and we had discussions with Vic Roads experts, Monash University director, ARRB directors, and also TAC organization, and collected informations regarding how we can promote road safety. I returned to India in October 2012 and suggested to AUS TRADE that the only way that this idea can be promoted across India is organizing an international conference.
There has to be a very serious note here that they would actually welcome someone, which means that the progress is already underway, which means that there was definitely a light at the end of the tunnel, that deals were meant to be made. And if you could actually tell us the nitty-gritties of what it took to arrange this in 2012, if I'm not wrong?
Yes. The moment I suggested the idea that this is the way to bring in Australian expertise in road safety, they jumped out with my ideas, and they said, yes, that's the correct idea. Let's start moving. Let's move on a ball footing. We are already receiving a lot of inquiries, but we really do not know how to go about it. So let us start doing that. Till at that point of time, there was never an exposure of AUSTRADE to road safety initiatives in India. I am firmly confirming this, because it was not just a matter of decision at that point. It is a matter of great relevance to business in India. So I knew that business is going to happen, so I did not hesitate that I will be ignored when the business result comes in. So what I did, I requested them to issue a letter of introduction before I start my initiative.
Which is exactly what
what was read out by just a few minutes before. So this letter of introduction opened up my direct contact with Vic Roads on an official note. It was not that my visit that mattered, it is the letter of introduction that facilitated the process of deciding the involvement of Vic Roads in participating in the conference.
Absolutely. Right? Now, so if one person who's been following this in one sector can actually downslide and be left out of the bigger picture of facilitating and implementing something like traffic management in a country like India, then bigger questions, bigger debates, bigger ventures, I really have to ask the question, what is going to happen to the trust factor there? And we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you, Dr. Kanagaraj, for actually joining me and speaking to me on this discussion. We hope that we will actually see the light at the end of the tunnel and hear a response from either side, whether it's going to be AUSTRADE or whether it's going to be representatives from India. We'd like to actually let the public know that this has actually happened, this has actually transpired. We haven't made up a story. We actually have the documents in front of us, which you've also seen. So thanks so much for watching.